2HotRadio, the party app, What's Real Wednesdays with your girl Princey with the Real. And you already know I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't do no small talk. Y'all already know. So I want to go ahead and let my guest introduce himself, let the people know who you are, where you from, and what you got going on globally.
Okay, well, I'm Lenny Logic. I'm a host of the Stand On It podcast, also an owner of Logic Enterprises. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia right now. So what I do, I help people market their businesses. I help artists expand their profiles. Everybody got social media, but it's about taking your business and your brand to the next level. So that's what I help people do.
Okay, so I'm ready to get all up and through your business. As a businessman, we all start from somewhere. You ain't just get here overnight. So talk about that transition of your beginning stages of doing your podcast and everything.
So for me, the podcast started during the pandemic. So I used to do a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff. So, you giving people consultations and you kind of finding out what they need, what their goals are. And a lot of those consultations was so interesting that I wanted to turn them into interviews. So I just said, you know what? I'm already in the house. People can't really meet, up, and it's virtual anyway. So I said, I'm going to take advantage of my social media and I'm going to turn these Zoom meetings into a podcast. So I just thought of a name, contacted a couple people I know that do logos and stuff, had them draw up my logos. And basically I just started advertising it and just launched it.
So with all of that, when the pandemic first started, everybody was in a panic. Everybody was losing their jobs. Everybody was dealing, financial. It was crazy with the financial shit. So with all of that, you started a business during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How was that start up for you?
It actually was easy because I was using tools I already had. So that's why I chose to use my social media so that I didn't have to go out there and incur a bunch of expenses. See, I think that's the problem. A lot of people start businesses, but they start up with so much debt that is like they get overwhelmed quick. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you got to take advantage sometime of the resources you got right in front of you. You got your laptop, you got your cell phone, you got things right in front of you that you already paying for anyway. So use those, and before you go run out and spend thousands of dollars and you get debt that you're not ready for. So
that is so true. Like a lot of people, they feel like you got to put a whole lot of money to start something up. But what you showing people is follow your dream and you can make it happen. So, but how did you, because here's the thing is, I see, all the time you're doing interviews. Mm-hmm. So how did you build up your portfolio to be able to get all of these people to want to interview with you?
Well, that's where I tell people networking is key. Just like me and you met, just networking. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm always out here shaking hands, listening to what's going on in the room, to know who I need to introduce myself to. Like I tell people, it's all in your approach. You can introduce yourself to somebody today and meet them again a couple months down the road, and they'll be a little more receptive. But some people too pushy. They don't know how to introduce themselves to people. So people be like, yo, relax. But you got to know how to work a room. And that's just me, over the years of being in different rooms. Like I said, dealing with music artists, dealing with models, dealing with club promoters, dealing with all types of people. I've just learned how to work the room. So that's why my network was pretty good. That, like I said, I was doing a lot of Zoom meetings and consultations and stuff anyway. So when I started sending out invitations that I was going to do a podcast and people could tell their story and promote their brand, they was pretty much with it.
And so I like that you say you got to know how to work the room. A lot of people, they take work the room differently. So what do you mean by know how to work the room?
You got to know how to analyze. Like you got to watch how people already kind of conduct themselves. So what's the appropriate way for you to approach somebody. So you can know, do you need to just go to their LinkedIn account or something and send an email, or do you feel comfortable enough to approach them in person? Like, people just got to take the time to think, what is the best thing I should do in this scenario? I don't think people think. They just say, oh, opportunity, and they just try to jump on it. But sometimes that opportunity is not your opportunity. They might be there to handle business. They might be there to do something else. They're not focused on making a new contact at that moment. You get what I'm saying? So people just got to analyze and observe before they make that initial approach. And I know that's hard because, like I said, sometimes you only got a couple seconds, the person walking by or something like that. But it comes a skill. It's a skill, and you learn it as you be in different situations.
And so what made you want to get into podcast? And I know you said, starting out you was having meetings with people all the time and you said, why not do this? But it had to be some kind of passion behind it for you want to be able to sit down with other people and allow them to expose what they got going on. So what made you want it to do that?
Okay, yeah. So I started out entertainment wise as an artist, right? So I used to write songs and I used to rap, but that wasn't my passion. So as we was traveling around and getting to know different people, like, going to radio stations, going to different video shows, to promote the brand and stuff, I actually liked what the host was doing and what the radio personalities was doing. So I always kind of had that in the back of my head, like, yo, if I get a chance, I'm gonna have some type of, entertainment show where people could come on and talk to me. I always felt more comfortable in that aspect. Like I loved it. Once I saw how the TV host and the radio host and stuff like that, even the bloggers, I was like, okay, it's a whole new, it's a whole new way I could promote myself and my brand and be able to network with people. So it was kind of like something that was already there.
And then speaking on yourself and your brand, first of all, you got hella followers. So, I always like to ask people, like, with your followers, are they genuine followers? Did you pay for your followers? And if they are genuine followers, how did you get, so many people to believe in you, support you, and want to follow everything that you got going on?
So that's funny that you asked that. I really kind of studied social media a little bit. I wasn't a big social media person. So I always promoted my artists and stuff, like told them to be big on social media, but I wasn't really big on social media. So like I said, once this pandemic happened, you're kind of stuck in the house, especially in the beginning. So I'm just watching how social media work to kind of see how people gravitate to other people. So I was like, you know what? You got to be really interactive. So you got to really, like, I didn't know about hashtags. I didn't know about none of that. Like, I'm telling you, I was really blind to social media. So I'm on there just watching everything. I'm kind of taking notes like, okay, people use hashtags. I didn't even, you know what I used to call it? Put a pound in front of it. I didn't even know it was called a hashtag. I'm being honest, at least. But so I was just writing stuff down. Like, okay, when people doing music, they write music. They write this, they write this, they write this. So I was studying hashtags. Then I started writing down all the different social media platforms, from the TikToks to the this, to the SoundClouds, to the everything. I'm just writing everything down, just studying, making a game plan. So then I'm like, okay, let me make a profile on each of these, which I always tell people, even if you're not ready to launch it, reserve your name. You get what I'm saying? People wait so long to do something that sometimes somebody else already got it already. So as soon as you kind of lock in on the name, go to every platform and lock your name. In your email too. Make sure you make an email with your brand. The worst thing you can do is have an email that make no sense, and then your brand is something totally different. So that's just a tip, But yeah, that's what I did. I kind of sat back and studied the game. So I didn't just throw a profile up. I made the profile, but I didn't even make it active. I just kind of watched how other people built their profiles up, and then I just went full steam ahead. Like, that's just me. Once I put my foot in, I'm going for it. So I'm either going to win big or I'm good, or it's going to look bad. Like, because I'm going to go hard,
And so when it comes to, the marketing, the promotion, the flyers and everything, when it comes to your show, like, talk about that. Who's behind that? How you make sure that stuff gets out? Because I know, like, I got an upcoming show with you. So I know, like, you on it, like, fast. Yeah. So how do you make all of that happen?
Okay, so that's actually funny because a friend of mine has a podcast. Well, he ain't really been doing it, but he had a podcast that he was active with. So I was actually, when I first thought of the idea, I didn't know how to make a flyer or nothing. So I contacted him and was like, bro, you got me? He was like, yeah, I got you. First 3 interviews I got lined up. I call him up. He has a family emergency. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there with people ready to go. They hitting me up. Yo, where the flyer? Where the flyer? I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I literally just had to go on the internet and just start downloading apps and just looking for how to put it together myself. So now I do all the flyers and he just kind of gave me a crash course on like, how to push it out there. Like I said, I was asking people about hashtags. I was asking people about just different things. And I just went with it. Like I said, for me, I don't like to overplan. I like to plan, but I don't like to overplan. I feel like it's people that plan forever, but they be so scared to actually put their foot in the water because they didn't plan so much, they kind of scared themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't do that. I plan enough, but then I just go for it. I believe in myself. So I know that, I'm going to make it happen.
And so that's a big part of, being successful in life. A lot of people think it's just, oh, well, you got to have a huge following. It's you believing in yourself and going after your dreams. Exactly. So what has inspired you and motivated you towards continuing to follow your dreams at this time?
Seeing this, I'm not going to lie. I didn't really know how it was going to take off, to be honest with you. I kind of had like the first 5 episodes planned, and that was kind of it. So now that we up at 60 something, it kind of grew a life of its own. Like the brand kind of grew itself. So I was happy for that. I thought I was going to have to do a lot more. Oh, could you call this person for me? Oh, could you, like I thought I was going to have to do a lot more of that, but it kind of happened for me, and the timing was great, and people was really receptive to it. Like, once people checked it out, they was like, oh, that's dope. I like that. It's real comfortable. It's real, it's real smooth. So it was kind of easy. I'm not going to lie. The hardest part, timing, the scheduling of it, because you got to work around people's schedule. That's right, the hardest part of it. Everything else, for me, it's kind of like, it's like this, it's a good flow.
Yeah. And I like that good flow, real talk type situation. So, being real talk, like I know it takes a lot of time off your hands, which means costing you money and stuff. How do you keep it up and still maintain your livelihood and your household stuff?
Yeah, see, that's balance. I tell people that all the time, whether you're an artist, whether you're a model, whatever you're working on, whatever your business is, you got to learn time management, because obviously you still got to keep the lights on, still got to keep the car notes paid, and the mortgage and all that. So it's really about time management. Being that, like I said, I've been around so many different type of people doing businesses, whether it was a actual storefront or an online business, or, like I said, music, modeling, whatever. I've kind of helped people so much with their time management that kind of came kind of natural, you know what I mean? Because I understood that from the beginning. Like, this is part of the brand. So I use the podcast almost like commercials to promote people, businesses and stuff. So I'm getting paid on that aspect of it too. So I kind of learned how to brand it to make it where it was going to make sense financially and time-wise. You know what I mean?
And now, so my next question is a lot of artists and people in podcasts, people doing different things, that's all they're working on because the money comes from that. Now, is your podcast the only thing that you have going right now as far as, building up on your career stuff? How are you financially holding down your household?
So I'm a truck driver by trade. So I got a CDL. Okay. Yeah, I have a CDL. Plus, I have Logic Enterprises and Logic Management Services, which is my marketing and consulting, which is what I do, like I said, with models, with people with other businesses that want to help expand their brand. They might need to know about trademarking. Artists might need to know about copywriting, just different business questions they got. So that's Logic Management Services, where I help people with that. And then I got the podcast. So I got my truck driving, which would be, I guess, like your 9 to 5, but I make my own kind of schedule with that. And then I got the podcast, and then I got Logic Enterprises, Logic Management Services. Okay. So I got 3-4 things I'm juggling,
And that's what I like to ask, because I like people to understand that, like, yeah, when people doing podcasts and people doing shows and stuff, it takes to you having another job and have other source of income to really make that kind of stuff happen. It don't happen overnight. People get to that point where they don't have to have that 9 to 5 no more, and they can totally focus on that stuff. But they need to understand that don't happen overnight. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm gonna start a show, and because I started a show, like I'm gonna just pop overnight. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna do all of that.
Nah, it take a minute before YouTube and Instagram and all them even start paying you at all. Like, so it's like you gotta, and those checks don't be that big even to live off. So it's like, you gotta know, like I said, you gotta know how to supplement your income, and you gotta know how to manage your time. That's the 2 main things. You just gotta keep it as a side hustle in the beginning till you grow it to a point where you could live off of it. You get what I'm saying? So,
and so what is your plan? What is your plan for your business? And you know, everything that you're doing now, where are you planning on going with everything?
Oh man, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. The plan is just to keep expanding and to keep building. That's the plan. Like we ready for everything. You know, we got the passport ready. We ready for everything, you know. So I feel like this, and this is part of my brand. Your life is your legacy. So everything I do in this life is what people gonna remember you for. You get what I'm saying? So this show that you're doing, people gonna remember you for this. People that you never gonna meet in person gonna see this show and they gonna remember you for this. Mm-hmm. People gonna go to your Instagram, people gonna go to your YouTube, people gonna go to your Facebook, people gonna go to your TikTok, your LinkedIn, you know, your Clubhouse, everything. And that's what you're gonna be remembered for. So your life is your legacy, and I pride myself on that. So it's like you gotta make sure that you leave something that you could be proud of. You get what I'm saying? So that's my motivation. Like that's my motivation. Like, yo, long after I'm not doing this stuff, it's gonna still live on social media and the internet, everything. People gonna Google your name one day. What do you want them to see? Think about that.
Yes. And so with all of that and everything that you've done, from the music to doing your podcast and all of the above, you know, now with having your podcast, who's that one person who you just be like, I want to interview them? It's got to be one person on your roster that you like, they the top of the notch. I need to interview them.
Man, it's got to be somebody huge that influenced the culture, that kind of changed the game. So it'd have to be like on that Jay-Z, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington type level.
Yeah.
It got to be somebody that changed the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole thing for me. Like, everybody leaves an impression. That's what I was saying about your life is your legacy. So it's like, you want to talk to somebody who changed the culture for 20 years, for 30 years, somebody who influenced millions of people. I don't want to, I want to, money is one thing, right? Money gives you freedom. That's what money does. It gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to be able to travel. It gives you freedom to have comfortable accommodations. But at the end of the day, your network can allow you to get money over and over again. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, stop trying to chase the fast money, because that's just getting money one time. You want to be able to bounce back. So your network is going to provide that. So if you meet somebody that's legendary, if you build a rapport and a relationship with somebody that's legendary, that's going to keep changing your life. Not just change it one time. Like a lotto ticket only going to change your life one time. But those relationships and that network going to change your life over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's very important. A lot of people don't understand the network behind the working. They think, oh, well, you start a business and the shit just gonna happen.
Oh, no.
You gotta have network and you gotta get people on your team. You gotta get people supporting you. So how do you go about, networking and getting the support that you need to make everything pop?
I think that goes from your reputation. So it's like, I am my brand. Right? So me, Lenny Logic, I'm the brand. So no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm doing management, whether I'm doing consulting, whether I'm doing a podcast, whatever it is, whether I'm selling t-shirts of my brand, I am the brand. So people know like, yo, this is how he moves. So whether they contact the author, whether they contact a model, a music artist, somebody I've interviewed with, they're going to get the same kind of story. Like, yo, this is what he does. This is what he represents, and they know what they get. So they're getting me. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter the name of the product or the brand at the moment. They're getting me. I am the brand. And that's why I tell people, you got to remember that. Like when you at a party, you're the brand. So don't be mad if nobody wants to throw a check your way when they see how you move in a room full of people. You get what I'm saying? They like, I don't know if I want to throw a check to that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. You are the brand. Just remember that before you came up with a name for whatever you're doing, it was you. So you are the brand.
And that's so important. A lot of people don't realize that they are the brand. The representation, you repping your set, and your set is your brand. So a lot of people don't get that, and they move accordingly. And they always be like, well, our exposure is good exposure. To me, I don't believe that. So in accordance to how you move, do you believe in that?
No. But I do believe that you can use exposure to your advantage. That's what I mean about knowing how to move. You get what I'm trying to say? So you don't want to be, you want to analyze. That's why I said, when you walk into any situation, you want to be able to observe and see, okay, what princess with the real do I need to be bringing to the table tonight? So just like I need to say, what Lenny Logic do I need to bring? Is this Stand On It podcast Lenny Logic? Is this Logic Management Services? Is this Logic Enterprises? Is this, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta set yourself up for success. That's what you gotta do when you go into any situation, business meeting, party, anything. Set yourself up for success. Don't go in there and make yourself look bad and then get mad at the bad exposure. You set yourself up. So it's like, you got to go in there and represent yourself and your brand to the fullest. You never know where that footage could go. You know, everybody got a camera phone. Everybody got something that could be spread out there to the world. So just represent yourself accordingly.
And see, on that note, you know, I see you repping yourself well on Instagram. You know, that's why I started following you on Instagram, because I like what you got going, and I vibes. I go on vibes, and I feel like your vibe is a good vibe. And with all of that, I want you to tell the people where they can find everything you got going, all your platforms, everything that you're doing, any upcoming stuff that you got going on. Let the people know.
I appreciate that. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, basically all social media platforms at Stand On It Podcast. And you're going to see everything that's going on with the movement. Like I said, that's on YouTube, that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok. Even some of them, I don't be as active, but I do have a profile. So my Instagram is my main profile. My emails are logicenterprises@gmail, Stand On It Podcast @gmail. Like I said, keep it real simple so that people can find you. Don't put all these numbers and characters that's unnecessary. It makes it harder for people to find your brand, especially if they only meet you one time, right? And you know, like I said, I keep it locked in on those, you know, and send me a DM, send me an email, and that's how I network with people. I get a lot of word of mouth. Like, a lot of people just spread the word for me because they've already dealt with me on a business level or interview or whatever. So that's why I said, I think your reputation is your brand, which is going to help your success. You get what I'm saying? It's going to help your success. So people, please just remember that you are the brand.
And now, outside of, you know, the advice you had gave people today, if you had to lead the people with something, what would you lead the people with?
You got to believe in yourself. You got to invest in yourself, and then you got to take that leap of faith. That's all I can tell them. That's all I can tell them.
Y'all heard it. And let me tell y'all, I back that 1,000%. So make sure y'all continue to tune in to him and everything that he got going. And of course, keep it locked with What's Real Wednesdays with your girlfriends with the real every single week. We are signing out.
Appreciate you.
So